Hi everybody, it's Andy with a quick message for the district team as we get ready to transition to phase 2 of our reopening plan this coming Monday. It's amazing that we're almost done with phase 1. I don't know where the time went. But today I just wanted to give you a couple of updates and some things to think about as we get ready to transition to phase 2 Monday. First of all, I know this has just been the strangest opening ever. We closed last March, and I know that was a strange enough thing to transition to distance learning at that time. But at least we knew our kids. I'm speaking right now particularly to our teachers. I mean, at least you knew your class coming in this year in distance learning with a new set of kids and a new class, try to build those relationships, start up all the things that the structures, the routines, the things you were normally thinking about at the beginning of the year. I know that's been doubly challenging. So I just want to let you know how impressed I have been with everything I've seen so far. I've been able to see a few of you in your classes and look over your shoulder with your kids, and it's just amazing how hard you're working to be engaging and be lively and draw the kids in. And I want to thank you for that. Now we're getting ready for phase 2, and the scheduling is more difficult than ever. I know class scheduling is very difficult. We've asked our parents several times, are you going to want to stay on distance learning, or are you going to want to come back? They've given us their answers, and then they've called the next day and changed their answers. Many of them have done this. I said I wanted this, now I think I want that. And someone else will call and say, I said I wanted that, but now I want this. And that's been really tough on our principals who have been trying to nail down the class assignments. That's been very difficult. I also want to say that I recognize that some of you teachers who had said that you had preferred to teach in person are going to need to continue with distance learning. I know that wasn't your first choice, but thank you for being flexible with this. Again, this is a big, gigantic puzzle. If you've been down at the district office the past few months or few weeks anyway, you would see the big, giant, about 15-foot long whiteboard with numbers and names and scribbles and erases and every different way we've been trying to figure out how to put this puzzle together with a moving number of students and what they're desiring and those kinds of things. So it's been really, really tricky. So thank you for those of you who are having to do something right now that's not your first choice. I really do appreciate you stepping up to do that. And we're getting into phase 2 here, and we've planned for everything we know how to plan for. We've gone through the safety documents from the health authorities so many times that we're seeing them in our sleep at this point. They do continue to change and morph. We got some more changes even yesterday, so those things will continue to be updated in our local district plans here. But I don't know what the future holds, to be honest with you. You know that the governor has changed the county monitoring list process a couple weeks ago. That's out now, and there's this new tiered, colored process in place. That we are currently, San Diego County is in tier 2, and there are some questions about what happens if we go to tier 1. We have heard as of yesterday from the local health authorities here in San Diego that even if the county goes to tier 1 and there we go from red, I guess it is, to purple, that would not affect the school openings. We would still be able to open. So we are still on track to do that. We'll continue to monitor those numbers and see what happens. Again, I know that one of the toughest things in this whole process has been just the not knowing and the uncertainty of it all. We're planners. I'm a planner, you're a planner. We like to have our weekly, our monthly, our yearly plans. We like to know what's coming. And that's been one of the things that's been the most difficult about this whole thing, is just kind of not knowing. And then you do know, and you start making plans, and a week or two later, it changes again. And I know that's tough, but thank you for your flexibility with all that. Thank you for your flexibility with our team. And I know that, as we come back for phase 2, many of our kids, many of our parents, many of our teachers are very, very excited to get back into the swing of things. I know others are nervous. There are teachers who are nervous. Some of our parents are nervous. Some of our kids are going to be nervous. And I absolutely understand that, and I get it. But again, we're going to do everything we can do. We've got all our plans on paper. On Monday, we'll get actual real live bodies in here, and we'll start going through the plans. We'll start living them out, and there will be things to tweak. There will be things to adjust. There will be things that work exactly like we have them on paper, and some others that don't work exactly like we have them on paper. And we're going to need everybody's best brains to help us figure out how we refine all these protocols that we've got put in place. I will tell you that lots of questions have come up in the past weeks, and they're all good questions. And they're not questions that we have answers for every single one. So principals right now, I know teachers as well, you're down into the very minute questions about playground equipment and line formations and where do we line up and how do we get the food, how do we get the kids from the classroom to the lunch area and all those other things. And those are things that there's no playbook for this. There's no guidebook for any of these things. These are things that we're going to need to work on together. So we need everybody's best brain. If you see something and you think that there's a refinement that could be made that would be helpful to your school, please let your principal know. We're going to need, again, everybody's best thinking on all this. I did want to share something with the team here that I was reflecting on recently, just this week, as a matter of fact. You may recall a few years ago that we talked about, when we were at LMS for one of our kickoffs, we talked about something called the Golden Circle. And this was from a researcher and a writer named Simon Sinek. And he talked about how organizations everywhere, whether you're a bank or you're a restaurant or you're a school district, talk about what they have to do and how they're going to do it, right? So there's the what and then there's the how. And every organization has that. And for us here, I'll tell you for myself personally, for the past 6 months has been almost exclusively what and how. What are the new orders? How are we going to pull this off? What are the new procedures that are being required of us? How are we going to do this? How are we going to plan for it? It's been almost always what and how. And Simon Sinek says that most organizations spend all their time there. A few organizations actually ask the more important question, which is their why question. You remember that? Why is it that we're doing all this in the first place? And I was reminded of our why this past Monday. So on Monday, of this week, we brought back special day class students to our district. Most of them came back. Some of them stayed on distance learning, but most of them came back. And I was out visiting schools on Monday to see how things were going. I happened to be at Lakeside Farms at the time when the students were being dropped off. And there was a little girl, a little 5th grade girl, who had just been dropped off from her car, and she was trucking across the parking lot on her way to her class. She had her brand new sparkly tennis shoes on and her new backpack, and she was all masked up and everything. She didn't see me standing there, but I could hear her talking to herself. And as she walked, her quick, brisk walk across the playground, she was saying, I made it. I made it. And then she got in her line, and she was spaced out and waiting for the kids to come. And with every student that came around the corner, every classmate that showed up, and came, she called out the student's name and said, you made it. Oh, I missed you. And I'm man enough to tell you that as I watched that happen, and then the teacher came out and said, hi kids, I missed you. And this little girl was like, she could barely contain herself. Oh, I missed you so much. And like I say, I'm man enough to tell you that I got a little misty. I got the little lump in the throat at that moment, just to realize how badly these kids have needed school. I know that there's some risk coming back. I know it makes some people nervous, but it's not a question really of risk in opening schools and no risk in keeping schools closed. There's risk in keeping our schools closed too. We know that the depression rates are up amongst youth right now. The suicidal ideation is up. Child abuse is up. This has not been easy on our families and on our kids. Now, some of our kids are going to come back and they're going to be strong. They've had a lot of support while they've been gone. They're going to pick up right where they left off and they're ready to go. Others of our kids have really struggled through this, and they're going to show up on Monday, and they're going to have some pretty significant needs, some social and emotional needs, definitely some academic needs. And so my encouragement to all of us is to remember that why. Remember that in the midst of all the other important things we need to figure out about the hand washing and then sanitizing the playground equipment and all those other things that we do need to think about, let's not lose sight of why we're in this business. Let's not lose sight of why we chose to be educators is because of these 5,000 kids. And these ones who are coming back on Monday need so badly to be back in school. And I'm just going to say, they're going to be very excited to see you, teachers, and don't get your feelings hurt if they're more excited to see their friends, right? They have needed that as well. So I'm going to encourage us all to take your time with them. Give them space. We're going to need space for the kids to talk through what they've just been through. They're going to have a lot to share. Some are not going to be ready to share right away. Some are going to have things that they're going to need to talk about when they're ready for it. But let's make sure that we have those opening ears and we're ready for that. And then let's also remember the academic needs that they've got. So it's both and, right? They've got these social emotional needs that we're going to need to attend to, and then their academic needs as well. Because this little 5th grade girl that I'm describing at Lakeside Farm, she only gets one shot at 5th grade. If you're a 2nd grade teacher, I'm in a 2nd grade classroom right now. These kids are going to be sitting in these seats on Monday, only get one shot at 2nd grade. And I know this is really difficult. Nobody's asking any teacher to try to teach everything for this year and the semester the trimester that they lost last spring. That's impossible. But I will tell you that the kids have always needed us to be amazing, and they need us to be more amazing than ever for them right now. And I'm super proud to be working with this team because I know you guys, and you guys are not going to let any one of our kids down. You have that same passion in you, and you are an amazing team. So I'm looking forward very much to phase 2. Let's figure this out together. Let's go day by day, week by week. Let's see how it works, and let's give our kids everything that they need. And please continue to work with each other, support each other, give yourself grace, give your colleagues grace, give your parents some grace, give your principals grace, give me some grace. We're all doing the very, very best we can in a situation that we've never had to face before. So thank you to everybody. I just wanted to give you a little couple words of encouragement. There's lots more information coming as it comes out daily. We'll continue to get it out. Your principals are fully briefed on the latest in terms of the requirements and the procedures and protocols and all those kinds of things. So let's keep the communication going. Have a great weekend. Try to get some rest this weekend, and let's knock it out of the park on Monday. We'll see you all then.